All right, before we go too much further, we need to hit a major distinction between quantity demanded and demand. So this whole time we've been talking about, well, change in demand and how do we get the demand curve and where does the demand curve come from? But now we're going to dive a little bit further into change in quantity demand versus change in demand. And it's a very important topic to market demand analysis. Quantity demanded, QD, quantity demanded, is the amount of a good that is demanded at a single specific price. It is a point on that line. So at point A, and I'm going to reference this graph down here, at point A, we demand QA, quantity A. At point B, at price of B, we demand QB. So if we were to take all of the different prices and all of the different quantities that we are going to demand at the different prices, they're going to be, and we graph it out, these are going to be rows on that chart. It's going to be a single quantity on that chart. It's going to be the row on that chart rather than the whole chart itself. If we look at a graph, point A shows the quantity demanded. Point B shows the quantity demanded. Point C is going to show the quantity demanded. It is a point on the line. It is the amount of good that is demanded at a single specific price. So, if I ask you, how much is being demanded at a price of $2? Well, it's not exactly right. You would say, what is the quantity demanded what is the quantity demanded at a price of $2? Maybe it's 3 burgers. And that is a single specific point. It's a single specific value. Whereas demand is a different beast altogether. It is a relationship between price and quantity. So whereas quantity demanded is a single specific price, it is a point. Demand is the relationship between price and quantity. It's the line itself. So this whole line shows a demand relationship between quantity and price. This line right here shows a relationship. So imagine that we were able to take all of the quantities at different prices, the quantities that would be demanded at different prices, put it all on one long chart. The whole chart together would be the demand. It's the whole relationship. It's a price quantity relationship. Whereas a single row, that would be the quantity demanded. That's the single specific point on the line. Demand is the line itself. So a change in quantity demanded. Changes in quantity demanded occurs when there is a change in the price of a product. If there is a change in the own price, in the price of the good in question, that is what is going to be a change in quantity demanded. So let's say, for example, we go from price falls from PA to PB, and we see that quantity increases from QA to QD. This movement along the line from point A to point B is a change in the quantity demanded, and it changed because price fell. If there is a change in the price of the good, it is a change in the quantity demanded. Now, what about a change in demand? A change in demand occurs when there is a change in the relationship itself. So there was a demand right here, a demand relationship here, but then we create a brand new demand relationship out here. We created a brand new line. The change as we move from D1 to D2 is a change in the demand relationship. It is a change in the line. It's a shift in the demand. So, we already talked about this a little bit, but price falls from PA to PB. The quantity demanded rises from QA to QB, and it is a movement along the line if there is a change in prices. It is a movement along the line. The demand curve does not change as price changes. That is an important aspect to note, that the demand curve is not changing whenever prices change. Just the amount that's being demanded, just that quantity demand. Now, what would cause the actual demand to change? A change in the demand, a change in that relationship, a shift in that line. So let's say that income increases. And income increases, now people buy more at the same price. So if you want to ever figure out if this is a change in the relationship or a change in quantity demanded, or change in demand or change in quantity demanded, find a single specific price. If there is a change in the quantity at the same price, it is a shift in the demand. It is a change in the demand. So let's look at price A. Price A does not change, but income increases. People have more to spend. So guess what? They increase quantity from QA to QB. They go from point A to point C. Quantity increases, but price never changed. We have a brand new relationship now. We have a brand new line, a brand new demand curve. It shifts the line to the right. We move from D1 to D2. B is now being bought at a price of A. Notice there was no change in price. So if you can keep prices the same but change the quantity, we know that it's a shift in the demand. In this case, it was an outward shift in demand. Now, let's say there's a fall in the price of a substitute and people buy less at the same price. Or there's a fall in the price of substitutes. So let's think about our substitutes. We're going to do chicken and beef. Let's say the price of beef falls. So now chicken appears to be more expensive. Well, people are going to buy less at the same price. Price of chicken never changed, but people are now buying less and buying more beef. So the demand curve would actually shift to the left. It would actually go this way. It would shift inward if there was a fall in the price of a substitute. Now, what would happen if we change the price of an independent, or what would happen if we change the price of a complement? Let's say that there was a fall in the price of a complement good. So let's say that there is a fall in the price of potatoes. So now you consume more potatoes. But you would also start consuming more gravy. The demand curve would shift outward for gravy. The price of gravy wouldn't change, but now you consume more gravy because the price of the complement actually fell. It shifted that demand curve to the right. It shifted it outward. So do a quick little recap. Or let's take it one step further. What would happen to the demand curve if we change the price of an independent good? Absolutely nothing. The prices would not change because you remember that independent good is independent. The two independent goods are independent from each other. The price of one does not affect the demand of another. So that would be a trick question. It would say nothing would happen. They're independent of each other. Duh, Mr. Reagan. Now, I want to do a quick recap before we end this particular video. That quantity demanded is the amount demanded at a single specific price. It is a point on the line. It is a row in a table of price and quantities. Demand is a relationship itself, is the relationship between price and quantity. It is the line itself. It's that relationship, it's that line on a graph. It's the whole entire table if we were to put all the price and quantities on a table. A change in quantity demanded occurs because there is a change in the price of the good. That's it. A change in demand occurs when there is a change in the relationship itself. There was a change in the Ceteris Paribus conditions. We broke our rule and we allowed something else to change, and it changed the relationship itself. If prices change, there's going to be a movement along the demand curve. If we allow prices to change from PA to PB, there is a movement along the demand curve, and we're going to see a change in the quantity demanded. If we allow something like income to change, if we allow the price of a substitute or a complement to change, or if we allow non-economic shifters of demand to change, it will change the whole entire relationship itself. It causes a shift in the demand curve.